Triple H's face told the entire story. In October of 2007, then WWE champion John Cena suffered a complete tear of his pectoral muscle. With zero expectations of John Cena making it back in time for WrestleMania, John Cena's theme song hit at the Royal Rumble and the face of Triple H told the entire story. John Cena had overcome the odds and it was a genuine surprise to everyone involved in the match, making it into one of the most shocking returns ever. That Roman Reigns' reaction was everyone's reaction when that theme song hit for the first time at the Royal Rumble in 2016. AJ Styles had been a pro wrestler for more than 15 years before making his WWE debut. He almost never signed with WWE in 2016 as he had verbally agreed to re-sign with TNA. But as fate would have it, TNA offered him far more less and AJ Styles knew it was time to take the plunge. And the rest is history. After getting kicked out by the Bullet Club by Kenny Omega, AJ Styles merely weeks later made his debut in WWE at the Royal Rumble 2016 event, and his phenomenal run continues till this day. You think you know me, you know what that means. Edge had to forcibly retire from pro wrestling in 2011 due to neck injuries, and the one thing that irked him was that he could not finish his career on his terms. Edge defied all the odds at SummerSlam 2019 when he speared Elias. That was the moment where we thought, could it be? And then You Think You Know Me hits at Royal Rumble 2020. And what a moment it was. Edge's return at the 2020 Royal Rumble made it into one of the greatest Royal Rumble returns ever.
And I always say, man, the pop was so loud, I looked behind me because I thought The Rock was standing behind me.
That's how big of a reaction he was getting. Booker T had left WWE in 2007 and he immediately joined TNA. After 4 years, Booker T was entrant number 21 when his music hit, and the pop was huge. It was totally unexpected and even Booker T was surprised. He did his spinneroonie, his axe kick, but was later eliminated. But what a reaction that was, which made Booker T's return in 2011 one of the greatest Royal Rumble returns ever. You could see the genuine excitement in Jerry Lawler's voice when he says, Rey Mysterio had left WWE after WrestleMania 30 and would go on to wrestle in the Indies, mainly at Lucha Underground. He made his return to WWE for one reason alone: to create a pathway for his son Dominic in the pro wrestling business. And right now, the way things are going on, Dominic has become one of the best heels in WWE and Rey Mysterio moves like he is 20. That's why Rey Mysterio returning at the 2018 Royal Rumble event was one of the greatest Royal Rumble returns ever. Dolph Ziggler didn't expect this guy to be entrant number 2 at the 2013 Royal Rumble. Chris Jericho was not a full-time wrestler in the 2010s. He would regularly take time off to tour with his music band Fozzy. In 2012, he would last feud with Dolph Ziggler in a loser leaves WWE match. But 6 months later, that pyro came down and that theme song hit, and the surprising look on Dolph Ziggler's face just said it all. Chris Jericho's Royal Rumble 2013 return was one of the best due to the level of secrecy maintained in this return by both WWE insiders and Chris Jericho himself. The look on Randy Orton's face was just perfect. In 2003, Randy Orton became the Legend Killer. He was in a hot feud with Mick Foley, which even led to Randy Orton spitting on Mick Foley. So when Mick Foley made his big return, he was greeted with a huge pop, and he had one mission on his mind: to eliminate Randy Orton. And so he did. He eliminated himself along with Randy Orton. I've made a whole video talking about this legendary feud, which you should definitely check out. I still remember Matt Striker saying,
Holy you gotta be kidding me!
when he entered at number 32. After leaving WWE in 2003, Kevin Nash joined TNA and he was fairly active there till 2011 after TNA and Kevin Nash agreed to part ways. That's when he returned to WWE at the first ever 40-man Royal Rumble in 2011, and the pop he received was a huge one. Although his entire WWE run was just pointless, but this moment was a legendary one, making it one of the greatest Royal Rumble returns ever. Stone Cold Steve Austin knew it was the King's turn to play the game. Triple H was injured in 2001 with a torn quad and was out of action for the majority of the year. Mere days before the 2002 Royal Rumble event, Triple H made his grand return to WWE at the famed Madison Square Garden. The comeback garnered a huge pop from the fans in attendance. It was just a surprise to everyone. He would make his in-ring return at the Royal Rumble and would go on to win the Royal Rumble. Although it was not a Royal Rumble return, Triple H returning in 2002 was a huge moment which even brought the game to tears backstage. The wrestlers were in shock and the fans just lost their minds when his music hit. Rob Van Dam was last seen in WWE in 2007 as he had left the company owing to creative issues. He would be fairly active in the indies, mainly in TNA, but in 2009, Rob Van Dam made a surprise comeback to WWE and we thought he would stay there for much longer, but that wasn't the case. It was just a one-off as he would go back to wrestling for TNA again. But RVD returning was a good surprise which no one expected and it was evident in the pop he received. Ever seen the same person enter the Rumble not once, not twice, but 3 times? Mick Foley between 97 and 98 had played 3 characters. So fans knew all these faces of Foley. What they didn't expect was all these 3 characters made their surprise appearance on the same night. Cactus Jack entered at number 1, Mankind entered at number 16 and Dude Love entered at number 28 in the 1998 Royal Rumble match. Imagine what Mick Foley had to go through. He took 2 spots for which he is sorry for, but this was about creating moments and what a moment it was.
Guys, for the first time in 10 years, Bubba Ray Dudley's come home!
Bubba Ray Dudley left WWE in 2005, but he was an active wrestler in the indies, especially in TNA. Road Dogg called him and asked Dudley to be a surprise. Now, since Bubba Ray Dudley hadn't participated in a Royal Rumble match before, which is actually surprising, he obviously said yes. He kept it very secret and the only guy he told was D1 Dudley, and that was probably an hour before the start of the Rumble match. And he was greeted with such a big pop that he just blacked out for a second. He got a phone call and the WWE said that there are not enough big surprises in this Royal Rumble match. Christian Cage had retired from pro wrestling in 2014 due to concussion issues. But in 2020, he got a phone call from WWE stating that there aren't enough surprises in the Rumble. That's when he bet on himself and made his big return. That moment between Edge and Christian Cage was just so good. The only shame was it wasn't in front of a WWE crowd.
So, and the doctor told me as much. And he said it's probably going to be about 9 to 12 months or you're done.
And he was back in a big way. Edge tore his Achilles in mid-2009 and he was expected to be out of action for at least 9 to 12 months. Edge returned as the 29th entrant in the 2010 Royal Rumble match, much to the surprise of everyone, especially Chris Jericho, because Chris Jericho was his tag team partner before Edge got injured. He came in and won the Royal Rumble match, which was the one accolade missing from his stellar resume until he retired in 2011.